Good morning, everyone. So today is Monday, the 9th of March. This morning, we are all gathering here at this time to show our veneration, appreciation, and homage to the Buddha for his kindness and compassion towards all sentient beings. And we ourselves are very fortunate that we got this opportunity being born in the world as a humans, and this opportunity to come across with the Buddha's teachings, which teaches us to understand ourselves and find a path and a fruition to make us happy. Happiness in this current life, and then happiness following lives until we attain the Parinibbana. So today, this morning, relatively, weather is not that cold and much brighter. With the brightness in the weather, it really transforms our mental state. And each one of us are heavily influenced by what we think and how we can work with it. Our mind is, as the Buddha said, is the forerunner. And is the chief. And based on that mind, whatever we do, if we are doing unwholesome, then that leads to the suffering. And if we are doing wholesome, then that leads to the happiness. In relation to the unwholesome acts that we do through the body and speech, that will be like a burden that the Buddha used the simile of oxens carrying the cart, heavy load cart. As we walk around, we are pulling that, and it's very heavy. And this heaviness will be making us to be unhappy every step, and we become miserable. And whoever sees us, then they also see that we are miserable, unfriendly. They feel not wanting to associate. Whereas a wholesome deed, if we have done through the body and a speech, it's like a light shadow. It's like a shadow following us. Will be bright, light, and happy, charming. So it attracts people to talk and able to mingle and able to associate. Feel comfortable with those people. But in the same time, this mind is so vulnerable, and as well as sometimes can be troublesome. It can make decisions instantly on the spot within a second and change the mind and move away. There must be a strong desire to do things, but somehow, instantly, you change the mind and move on to do other things. That's why it's a very a vulnerable as well as a fragile mind we have. And it's every step we have to learn. We have to learn this mind. We often think that we have to learn about this, we have to learn about that. This is skill, that is skill, that person, they are, or something like that. But if we look at closely, it's not about learning them, learning that, learning those. But it's about learning our own self, our own mind. Which is the reason why the Buddha, he said that I do not see a single thing that when it is not developed like this, it is unworkable as the mind. As undeveloped mind is unworkable. So when the mind is not developed or unworkable, then that causes lots of troubles. And that's the single thing can either destroy or either bring a happiness and a joy. And this also, if we haven't developed our mind, then rather than leading towards the happiness, always leads to the harmfulness, harmful mind. So Buddha further said that the undeveloped mind is harmful. So undeveloped mind is unworkable, undeveloped mind is harmful. And this harmful mental state, once you have developed as a mind of a harmfulness, then we won't see the potentials within us. Because of not developed mind, the potentiality is not there. Which is the reason why the Buddha used the simile that humans and animals or other animals are no different if the mind is not developed. Animals also sleep, animals also eat, animals also have a sexual intercourse for the sexual intercourse for the reproduction, and that's all they do. And humans are also similar. The only difference is the developed mind that is a workable, that is a harmless, and that's a developed. And this mind, when it is developed and cultivation of the mind is cultivated, well developed, then this mind will not be more harmful but will be beneficial. And rather than bringing a suffering, it brings the happiness. So that's why it's very crucial that we guard our mind and we look after our mind. And we making sure that this mind is workable. And this mind, when it's become workable, it is known as the kamanita, working possible, kamanita. And when this becomes a kamanita, then that brings benefit. It won't be harmful for others, it won't be harmful for ourselves. We won't be committing anything that's unwholesome through our physical actions and through our verbal speech. We will be fully guarding this mind towards all sorts of actions. And rather than having a flicking moments of a fragile mind, we will have control over this mind, and we know the nature of this mind and how it works and how we can deal with it. Obviously, there will be ups and downs because we are not perfect, so others, even the nature is not perfect. The weather changes. And when weather changes, we have to adapt in various ways to survive. But we never fight with the weather. We simply deal with it. A similar way, when we are living in the community, when we are living in the society, each individuals are developed differently. Each individual's understanding are different. Each individual's intention of doing things are different. In the midst of so differences, and similarly each individuals are also vulnerable in their mind and are fragile, there's always a possibility of a change takes place in a flicking moment. So we are. Having understanding of that, we will guard our mind. We will protect our mind. Not only guarding and protecting our mind, but also developing the kindness and compassion and the joy and equanimity within us. So that's why if the mind is not developed, we want to be able to guard and protect and want to be mindful. And even just the slightest things that upsets, slightest things that you feel uncomfortable, you will be run away. Either run away or cause a trouble. So it's called a flight or a fight mode starts. And which is the reason oftentimes we cannot deal, we cannot mingle, we cannot work together. And that develops the gap and beginning to see the negativities on someone else. But in fact, it is within us that we have to deal with it. We have to work with it. Making the mind firm and making the mind strong with the development of the mind. When we have developed the mind, it won't be harmful for ourselves and then to others. It will be more beneficial for oneself and then others. It will be bringing more happiness than the suffering. So this mind is known as the mind that's workable. As a practitioners, we all have to work in such a way. When difficulties arises, be mindful and deal with it. When upset and disappointments comes, mindfully dealing with that, noticing and dealing with that, and see that why we can't make friends, why we can't make this happen and like that. As long as we cannot deal with it, we cannot work with it, we are still running away from the troubles. We are still hiding away, and we are still keeping our mind as in a vulnerable place or a fragile state. So the study of the Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings, is basically to develop this mind so that It won't be harmful. It won't be non-beneficial. It won't be a suffering state. But rather, mind becomes harmless. Mind becomes beneficial. Mind becomes mind produces a happiness. And these states, which is already developed and cultivated mind, is known as workable. It's called a kamanita. And this is what we are aiming for. A simple simile is that we deal with the different weathers, so we deal with the different situations mindfully, rather than getting angry, rather than getting upset, rather than feeling sad in those situations and run away. I remember a long time ago in 2011 when I moved to Aberdeen, and I moved. I came during the July 13. I came to Aberdeen for the first time, and then I stayed here for 4 months and went back and came back again in December. In December time, it was all rain and rain and rain and wind and cold. And I remember one of the members came up and told me that in Aberdeen, that when it's rain, we still have to walk because there is no way the rain gonna stop. So we have to find ways to get around and jobs done. Similar way, in our mind also, there are things will come and causes the troubles. Different forms of emotions and feelings we will come across. In those situations, rather than fighting with them, find ways to deal with them. Like when there is a rain, we put the proper gears or take an umbrella and go out and do the job. When there is a wind, we are wearing a proper clothes and then go and do the job. A similar way, when we come across with certain situations and problems in those situations, we just got to be mindful. It's like a sealing our mind and not letting it to be troubled and able to deal with that. And if we really want to be master of our mind, I normally use a simile, is a water. Water maintains its pristine purity, its a quality, but it's happy to be in any jars, whichever jars you pour in. It just adapts in accordance with the jar, but not affected by those jars. Similar way, if we have cultivated our mind properly, and we can work in every situation, whichever situation we are in. Doesn't matter how uncomfortable situation we are in, we still maintain our awareness and maintain our mind, and we able to stay still and kind at that moment. So that's another reason why it's known as the leads to the beautification of own self, able to deal in those situations wisely, unshaken by any emotions and feelings of oneself and then others. That's why the Dhamma is something that's very important for us, and not just the memorizing, not just the pretending, but also able to apply in our day-to-day life, which brings the real happiness. And so that's why once we have developed this mind, it brings harmless state of the mind, rather but generating the kindness and compassion to oneself and then to others. And this mind becomes beneficial and ability to rejoice one's success and as well as the success of others. And meanwhile, one able to deal with the different kinds of dissatisfactions, sufferings and troubles, and leading towards the happiness. And this mind is called a workable mind, a kamanita. And that's what we are aiming for, and that's what we are learning the Dhamma to gain that state. So whichever situation we come across, just be mindful and work with it, and maintaining this mind in a complete pristine purity as the water, an ability to adapt in every situation and not affected by it, so that the mind becomes not a vulnerable, not fleeting moment, but it has a mental power to stay still like the rock in the mountains, that not shaken by the wind and the rain. So with this, I wish you all the best for the week coming, and may you all be well and happy. As we know that this week we are having 2 monks coming, 2 monks and 2 members coming up to stay with us for a week to prepare the marker stone places. So we have to order 200 bricks, cements and some gravels and slabs to prepare for the 17th of May. And yesterday night I checked the sponsorships for the markers. There is crystal balls, 108 crystal balls, and realized that still 31 left. So whoever would like to sponsor, you are most welcome to do so. And I also checked the sponsorship to offer the monks, and there are only 3 person have sponsored, and there are still a few more to go. I was expecting to have 30 monks, but due to this conflict in the Middle East, most likely most of the monks from Asia may not be traveling up here. So that means maybe we will have less than 20 monks. But hope that we'll have 20 monks. So that's happening, and yesterday I completed the design of a book, and just waiting for the messages from different monks. Once I receive the different messages from the monks, then the book is ready to go for printing. And this chanting, my thought was to publish this chanting book, and it's going to be very costly, as well as the Thai version is not completed, so it's may not be going to publish this chanting book, maybe for the next time, as we are very tight with the budgets. Similar, and the preparation for the event is still quite a bit of a work to be done, and lots of things to be prepared, and it also occur quite a significant amounts as well. In the meantime, tomorrow, the 10th, the roofer is coming to repair the leaks. I hope that he will able to fix all the leaks that we are experiencing this 3 weeks of rain. So these are the things taking place this week. So this week the temple is going to be very busy with a few monks and members. In the meanwhile, end of this month, one boy is going to be monk for a week. So If anybody wants to bring their children to be temporary novices, you may contact me as soon as possible. So with this, thank you very much, and let's do the chant.